another NewStart recipient, and she's going to give us a slightly different angle on what's going on, I'm sure. So give her another round.
Well, I guess if Aidan's the voice of the young person on NewStart, I'm the voice of the old.
No,
Slightly more mature than Aidan.
let's go.
So I have notes because I forget, so bear with me. Firstly, thank you all for coming today. My name is Maureen and I've been on NewStart for about 18 months. And I am one of the faces living in poverty. NewStart is not a way of life. It's more like an episode of Survivor. I live in a cold house that I can't afford to heat. My staple food is rice and bread, and I usually only eat one meal a day. My life has all the challenges of a TV reality show, but the difference is I don't choose to live this way. I have worked since I was 15 years old and own 3 businesses. I've raised 4 children. They all completed Year 12, University and TAFE, and have well-paid jobs, and I did this without welfare assistance. My ex-husband and I were very well off, running a very successful business and paying a hell of a lot of tax. Divorce rids women of assets and work skills. 26 years of raising children while working full-time, yet I've got no superannuation. And through the loss of a business, I've been forced into NewStart and government housing. Prior to being lucky enough to get housing, I was homeless for a year and then struggling in private rental. I lived in Queensland, had a good job, came home to find my mother, who I've recently lost, in advanced stages of dementia, and my dad with prostate cancer. I stayed and cared for them for 4 years and saved the government tens of thousands of dollars. And this is how I'm rewarded for it: a few years older and out of the workforce. I don't have the funds to start or buy a new business. I don't have the funds to eat properly, but I am not a dog bludger. I volunteer 15 hours a week under mutual obligations out of my own pocket. I have to do it to run my decrepit old car, and that costs money that I don't have. There are no concessions on my registration or licence, but to volunteer, I need a car. Any jobs I've had have been casual, non-secure positions. I apply for jobs, but trust me, ageism is alive and well. The grants offered to employers for older workers is no incentive. I'm overqualified, not who we're looking for. I've heard it all. I am an independent and very proud woman. I'm a person with a story, not just a number on NewStart. No one could and would live on it by choice. Actually, it's not living, it's struggling to survive. My lifestyle would have been comparable to the politicians. Could they even imagine for a second starting again? If the government plans a budget over a 10-year cycle, they'd better be prepared to kiss goodbye to that plan if we have to survive, not live under the poverty line. In 1994, when NewStart was last raised, the average income was $690 a week. Last year, it was $1,538. This is according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, and that certainly leaves us NewStart recipients way behind. People forget that NewStart is many faces. The things most people take for granted are beyond our income. I've sold most of the jewellery that I had to stay in private rental. I can't afford internet, so job seeking is hard. Private health is not affordable. The money for food is almost negligible, and many times towards the end of the fortnight, that's a struggle. If one extra bill comes in, that takes precedence over food, but hunger's the easiest thing to get used to. Electricity usage is watched closely. An extra layer of clothes is the best option, so I don't run up bills that I can't pay. I'm already in arrears with AGL, and it's going to take a long time to get back on top. My health suffers due to inadequate nutrition. Colds and asthma are the things I have to watch, also due to a cold house. But then there's the issue of medications. More people die from the cold than from the heat. Bear with me. Pause. The lack of good nutrition, a warm house, and the depression poverty breeds puts more pressure on the already stretched medical system. It is a vicious cycle. Christmas was always my favourite time of the year, but now I dread it. The pressure to have a meal for the family and buy gifts is stressful. Christmas and birthday presents for my kids and granddaughter are not possible anymore. This breaks my heart that I can't afford the smallest luxury. I feel like a failure as a parent and a grandparent when I don't have any spare cash for Christmas or a dinner to celebrate an occasion. The social isolation breeds depression. No money equals no going out. Some days I just want to stay in bed, at least it's warm there, but I know I have to find things to do so I don't get down about money. I know my story is repeated around the nation. To those of us barely getting by, it's a common problem. I know there are people worse off than me, and sometimes that feels barely possible. A raise of a bare minimum of $100 a week would mean so much. The opportunity to occasionally choose between needs and wants. A long-awaited night out with friends, 2 meals a day, a car service. I dream of a new perfume or a haircut or some small luxury item to make me feel better about my life. A toy for my granddaughter or, wow, a new pair of shoes. Then there's the needs. New glasses would be good, or a trip to the dentist. The things I once took for granted as insignificant now are a very big deal. A few extra dollars would give me a bit more dignity. The soul-destroying cycle of poverty is unimaginable unless you live it. Let's put pressure on the politicians to raise NewStart to the poverty level. My advice to them is, there but for the grace of God go I. It is not selective. Life takes sudden turns. I never expected to be here 7 years away from the pension. Thanks for coming, guys.
What an amazing